Today we're talking about Mixland's Rubber Band Compressor. So, if you guys are interested in learning about a compressor that is modeled after the characteristics of a rubber band, stick around after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer, and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash the like button. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we're talking about Mixland's Rubber Band Compressor. So Jesse Ray over at Mixland was nice enough to send me a copy of this plugin probably about a month before its release. So I got to spend quite a bit of time with it. And I do want to mention that all the opinions in this review / tutorial are mine, so I just want to get that out of the way. So the first question is, what actually is the rubber band compressor? Well, they consider it, based upon their website, to be the snappiest, most flexible VCA audio compressor ever made. So that's a pretty bold statement right there. So in this video, I'll be demoing this on a drum bus. And basically what I'll be doing is I'll be moving all of the knobs one by one so you can kind of hear what each of the parameters does to the sound. And then after that, I'm going to create some parallel compression for that drum bus because I think this compressor really shines when it comes to parallel compression. That is my favorite thing to use it on. Now, with that being said, it really does sound good on anything, but I think parallel compression is the best use case for it, all right? Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with parallel compression, what it is, and how to actually do the routing within your DAW, check out my video popping up the top right corner. It basically lays all that out. So I'm not going to talk about that within this video, all right? And before we get too far into this video, I do want to mention I have a link in the description below where you can purchase Mixland's Rubber Band Compressor if you do end up liking it, all right? So with that being said, let's actually take a look at the Mixland Rubber Band Compressor user interface, and we'll talk about how to use it. All right, so this is the Mixland Rubber Band Compressor user interface here. Now I am working with a beta version that was the last one released before the one you guys can buy now. As you can see, there are lots of problems with the text here. It's almost not legible. So I will explain to you what all this says so you know. So let's just start talking about it here, starting from left to right. So this knob here is the crunch knob. So you can actually add some crunch to this compression, essentially some distortion. It actually sounds really good. Next to that, we have the tilt. And this is just essentially an EQ. You turn it up if you want to make it a little bit brighter. You turn it down if you want to make it a little bit darker. It's a very simple EQ. And then down here, we actually have oversampling here. You can do, I believe, 2x and 4x or off. And then tension here. So tension is actually kind of where this thing shines. So if you see when I move it here, it moves the hands in the rubber band here, okay? You basically are stretching the rubber band, all right? And basically the looser the tension, the more bouncy the sound is. So this would be considered a looser tension. And if we tighten it all the way up, this is considered a snappier sound, all right? And then this is the snap knob here. If we want to get more snap to the sound, we just turn this up. And then if we want less snap, we turn it down. And then over here on the top right, this is the mix knob. So we can use this as essentially a parallel compression right on the track. Next to that, we have the auto makeup gain. This is our output level. And then we have our attack, our release. And then this wait button basically engages a high pass filter, all right? So it's got just enough controls to be dangerous, but it doesn't have too many that it's overwhelming. So what we're gonna do now is I'm going to loop up a drum bus, as mentioned earlier, and we're gonna start playing with some of these parameters, all right? So let's give it a listen. All right, so I was actually able to achieve a pretty good drum bus compression sound there pretty quickly. So I enabled some of the crunch because I wanted to have a little bit of distortion on it. I turned up the tilt just a bit because I want to have a little bit of a brighter sound. And I decided to go with the tightest tension because that enables the snappiest sound. And in my mind with this compressor, the snappiest sound is the punchiest sound, okay? And then I set my attack and release settings to my liking. I kept the mix knob all the way up because we're gonna add some parallel compression to this, and everything else I pretty much left as is. So just some advice, the best way to really set this compressor is to pick a tension, turn the snap pretty high up, and then start changing your tensions. Then you can really hear what it does, all right? So with that being said, let's now add some parallel compression on top of this here and see what we get. All right, cool. So that definitely makes a huge difference. So you kind of got to hear it bypassed and then brought back in there at the end. Let's actually hear what it sounds like in the music. All right, so let's give it a listen. All right, so that's definitely a night and day difference there. So in that last playback, I actually bypassed the bus compression and also the parallel compression. So you got to hear the original mix against the rubber band compressor mix of the drums. And I would say the rubber band compressor mix is definitely more bright because we're using the built-in EQ. It's much more punchy. And then it has more character because we are using some of the built-in distortion in there. So overall, just a lot better. So I do really like this compressor. Is it the most snappiest compressor I've ever heard? I don't know. I can't really answer that. It's definitely snappy. That's a very bold statement to say. I would say visually, definitely the GUI of the plugin is the most snappiest looking one I've ever seen. So it's got a pretty cool looking GUI. So I like that. So yeah, I definitely think this is a great compressor. And I thank Jesse Ray for sending it to me. And if you guys end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so I'm making this content for you, and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. And just a reminder, if you like the plugin, I do have a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely check out my video on the Dream Team vocal compression, okay? So that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.